On this episode of Maginger Customs, we're going to see, did we really screw up that bad? Can I get this header to fit? It's a Chevy 350 and an F100 with a Crown Vic swap. We have found nothing that bolts in, so we're going to cut it up. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and we are going to make this header fit. A lot of guys said ram horn, like old school Chevy small block manifold. Possibly. Now that I'm looking at it, maybe. But the ram horn came out underneath these two, so maybe not. So what we're going to do is, let's just take that out of there because that's not going anywhere. We basically need to get this pipe out of the way of that over there, and then this one pulled back through, connected back here. Mild steel J-bends used to be super cheap. I mean, everything's increased in price, I get it. So this is what I would consider J-bends, right? So you get a 90 and you get a 180. And then you can cut sections out of here to kind of get where you want to go. I got plenty of tube length. I would love to only use one of these and save that for another project. So I bought two of them, but it's a just in case type of thing. Look at the fancy sticker Speedway sends. Not sponsored by Speedway. I paid for these. Speedway has never even approached me. Shocking, I know, with the hundreds and hundreds of views. 1 and 7 are good. We're clearing. I mean, we're barely clearing on 7. I might have to dimple that. I might just tap this in a little bit. It does clear, but we might just want to do some clearancing, so I might give that thing a tappy tap. Normally what I would do is build this in the car or truck. I don't necessarily think we're going to need to do that because I know I just need to hug the inside here and I need to pull this one around back. I'm hoping I can just build it on the table. When I used to do this, it was a lot easier to do on a lift and I did it at a speed shop. So I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to do a couple little marks where I need to massage it. And hopefully by the end of, we're going to have everything fit, cut, and I'm going to explain to you how I do it as I go because I've seen a lot of like professional YouTubers do like turbo kits and exhaust and modify headers and oh my god. So maybe we can try to just do it a little bit better this time. Or you guys can critique it and you tell me in the comments, be like, Dave, that's terrible. I got thick skin and I'm fat. Doing a weight loss challenge with my buddy. You guys got to keep me honest. I'm going to give you updates as I go. I'm not even joking. Seriously, I got to lose a bunch of weight because I'm unhealthy and my knees are killing me because I'm a fat ass. All right, let's get this thing off here. Remembering how very much I used my bandsaw when I did this. I'm never getting to my bandsaw. We might just use a 4.5-inch cutoff wheel and we'll just try to use a piece of tape to keep us straight while we cut. But this is where we're at. This is the only thing I'm probably not moving, so I just took a roll lock and I cleaned it. Anytime you TIG anything, you want it to be clean. I'm hoping I can TIG this all. Usually what I do is if I'm in the car, I'll mock up with the MIG, but I'll use very low speed wire so it just kind of taps it and burns back. We know that we can't go lower here, so we're going to automatically come this way and then come back. And even if we have to do radius cuts to get there, that's what we're going to do. This one, I might cut it here because I can get all the way around it and weld it. And then we're going to turn it because I want it farther in to come back. When you clean off piping, because you're going to weld it, do not use chlorinated brake clean. When you burn it, that makes phosgene gas. If you want to die or get very sick, phosgene gas is a good way to do that. So please, please, please don't use chlorinated brake clean. Ideally use acetone. What you can do on a 90, right? If you just need a little edge and you need a little bend, you can cut a little bit off to give you a little bit of a rock. But keep in mind, the more you elongate it, the longer you make the pipe. So if you have a perfectly round tube that you're connecting to, you will elongate the bend and it will be oval, and you will have to either make up the difference, and sometimes it's imperceptible, and in this case, kind of how we're going to go. So this is about where we need to be. I took a little bit, tiny bit off of it, but this is kind of how we have to go. And then we're going to cut this in here at an angle, and we're going to spin it so we can bring this like that. So all we're going to do is now cut here and put an angle on it, just so we can kind of get where we need to go. So almost like a radius cut, like a pie cut. This tubing, especially stainless steel, will wipe a blade out immediately. You can't just wrench it down. Super slow, because you'll knock the teeth off of it. The TIG hooked up is the TIG we're going to use. Our Captain TIG 200P AC/DC. Simple to use, good results. Aluminum, steel, stainless, the whole 9 yards. I'm just going to tack this thing onto there so it's just one less thing I have to hold as we go up. I'll try to keep you guys kind of in the loop with what I'm doing here. This is not my normal welding table. I got a torch holder and everything set up on that one, but we're in the middle of the garage, so I'm all twitchy now too. Shouldn't have drank that large coffee. So just a tiny little tack, because we're probably gonna have to break that off, because I'm gonna want to weld here first. We're gonna build here, go that way, and we'll just tack it. And then we're gonna have to see systematically, what can we actually weld? What can we get into? Like, can we get in here? Yeah, we can get in there. That'll be all right. So we're gonna get this piece. See how I just cut an angle, and this one's on an angle. So as you spin, you're not going to have a massive disparity that our people are going to be able to see, but we can get her in kind of snug. This is going to be super tight, getting from here to there. Well, I used to be good at this. Man, that's humbling. I gotta be honest. I used to be really good at this, and I mean, I'm not proud of it, but it fits in there, so that's kind of what we're looking at. It swoops up underneath, plenty of room. So basically all we got to do is spin this one, elongate, and go over the back. I think I'm going to start just kind of welding this one up anywhere I can see it for now, just so it firms it up so it can't go anywhere. It's just kind of tacked. You know, is it perfect swooping? I really should dig my bandsaw out, because I would have loved to have done more radius cutting in it, but you know, kind of working with what I got. I'm using the chop saw, taking off little pieces, and then I'm using the 4.5 inch. I mean, I guess that's what all the guys, you know, if you were doing this at home, that's what you would do. Most people don't have a bandsaw, so, and they don't have a, you know, a radius jig. That's cheating anyway, right? But I mean, shit. I mean, look at that. She's in there, she fits. She'll flow fine. I'll lop off the back. Tack it up. Okay, I guess I just gotta be super honest with you guys. This piping welds for shit, because it's completely full of oil. It's pulling the oil right through it. It must be all on the inside of it too. It's popping, it's contaminating the tungsten. I've stopped 84 times, and I'm trying to get the oil out of it. Maybe it would be better to MIG it, but I mean, it's kind of tagged. It's not, you know, stack of dimes nice, but I mean, it's not horrible. It's good enough for, you know, who it's for and what they're paying. Walked around my garage for like 45 minutes looking for converter bolts that I bought. They're gone. Do you know why they're gone? Because I actually didn't order them. And I'm like, should go back through all my ordering stuff. Didn't order any. Wasted more time Pulled the header, tightened the bolts. I'm just doing all the little stuff that you guys don't want to watch. I'm going to throw a thermostat in it, water neck. I'm going to run out and grab converter bolts. I'm going to have to hit these things with a wire wheel. I'm going to paint the existing truck headers now that they fit, which is awesome. And I have just boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff everywhere. So I'm going to try to do all the little stuff off camera. I know you guys don't want to watch that. And some of you are like, man, you probably watch a lot of YouTube. And I do, but I don't really watch a lot of car stuff anymore. I watch Queso. If you guys know who Queso is, my kids are like, I can't believe you watch him so much. He's like just a funny guy that plays video games, but he's entertaining, and that's really what you want. When you do this pretty much all day, you're like, I don't want to watch other people do it, but I do. I still watch, you know, Puddin' and Mortsky, and I watch Pole Barn Garage. I watch some of the smaller channels, Casey's Customs. I don't watch big channels anymore that are like so overinflated with their budgets are like those car channels like Motor Trend. That I can't sympathize with that. I can't see myself building those kinds of things, so I don't watch them anymore. You know, like Derek at Vice Grip. I mean, every once in a while he does some stuff that I'm like, yeah, that's relatable, but most of the time it's like, throw a $2,000 Holley sniper kit on, and I mean, even Sleeper Dude's getting way out of control with his builds, where it's like, you know, it's got 50 grand into a car, and you're like, I mean, it's fun to watch, I guess, if you're never going to build anything, but you can't sympathize with it, and I can't at least, so kind of gravitate to the smaller guys. Well, we're looking at brakes now. This is a very small booster because of the fact that we had the Y-block, and the Y-block valve covers like hit the normal booster. Now, this booster worked fine, and this truck stopped okay. So I do have the bigger one, but it's kind of, you know, more invasive to take it all back out. So what we want to do is, this was a drum because it was drum in the front and drum in the back. We are going to be keeping the drum in the back for now. Good, bad, or indifferent, cry about it. They work fine, and they're all rebuilt, and they're brand new. So what I think we're going to do is, I went on Amazon. This is a drum disc, like a disc drum proportioning valve. So I'm going to, comes with a bracket and a bunch of fittings. There's obviously no instructions, but I mean, how many ways could it possibly go? And this is basically a Corvette style master cylinder. Now, in every master cylinder I've seen, the rear reservoir is always the front brakes. This is the exception to that, and that's why the big fitting is in the back, and there's a little fitting in the front. And he said that is correct, and it is supposed to be the rear. I don't think the reservoir size makes much of a difference, to be honest with you, and the bore and the stroke appears to be about the same. I can't imagine how much of a like massive difference it would make, but so I'm going to plumb it that way because technically that's the way I already had it plumbed, and if I can screw it all together. The other issue is there's a fitting here, and there's another fitting here. Didn't come with any plugs, and I'm not really sure. Maybe I can use the brake switch, because I do still have a quote hydraulic brake switch that went like somewhere around here. Maybe I could put it there. I gotta find it. I don't even know where it is. But this is what this kit comes with. So it's this arm. You can buy this as an assembly. So it comes with the booster, but it's the big booster. It's this booster, this big booster, which is an 8-inch booster. And then they make a small, tiny 7. If you can't find this, look for a street rod booster, because that's technically what it was listed under. And this is like a standard reproduction Corvette master cylinder. I've been running that master cylinder and the 8-inch booster in my CJ forever, and it works awesome. And it's basically the same kit in the 66 F100, and that works great too. That's a 4-wheel drum. Well, guys, just following up from last week, you can hear the welder. We're gonna put a couple gussets on the plate that holds the transmission up. That was the last thing I needed to do before we painted it. None of this really needs to be pretty. It's under the truck, and it's not a show truck. It just has to be strong. I already replaced that brand new broken transmission mount we bought. If you watched that in the last episode, that's unsettling. I put in like a rubber vulcanized, not some cheap poly knockoff nonsense. If you're gonna buy those mounts, buy them, you know, Energy Suspension or one of those companies. Daystar or whatever. Don't buy those cheap knockoff ones. They're no good. They're gonna fall apart and probably gonna cause you problems. So I'm just gonna zap this up. Then I have to go get some paint. I need some hardware here and there. Put this back in. The headers fit. We're gonna paint the headers and then we'll get them in. We're going for strong. I hear you guys when you say it. You gotta push MIG wire. You know, there's circumstances when you don't. I'm not a professional welder. I don't claim to be, and I've told you that 100 times. You guys know better than to be like, Dave. I'm like, I get it. Please, in the comments, you're hurting my feelings. I'm just kidding. I don't have any feelings. You're not gonna upset me. I love you all. Where are my Art Captain magnets? These magnets are horrible. Jeez. Jeez 'em. That's it, sand it, paint it. We move on with life. Are you looking for absolutely fabulous results in paint? Head on down to Dave's Paint Cave. Professional results, professional prep work, professional spraying station. I mean, it's beautiful, honestly. Do you absolutely want results like this? No, you don't. But it'll do for under the truck. Had to change a heart because the original steering column bolts to the frame. So why wouldn't I anchor it to the frame? Can't imagine the body shifts that much. So I just made a little plate that kind of goes around it, and I'm just going to weld it in, and this is pretty much where it's going to live. But it looks like it'll be good. So I'm going to put the header back in, make sure everything clears, and then, you know, for the last time, and then we'll paint the header and put it in. But that's the bracket I made real quick out of, you saw me cut it with the plasma on the time-lapse lock-in. This is just my knees against the wheel, but she's good. Wheel goes around and round. All right, I think we got a win. I'm probably gonna dimple this just a smidge. That's why I have a line on it, but that pops off. We're winning. It's the next day, and hindsight being 2020, I wouldn't have welded that there. I think what I'm gonna do is, at a later date, I'm gonna cut it, and then I'm gonna make a saddle mount that comes up like this and goes this way. That way we can move it up and down if we needed to. It's kind of like fixed it, so that wasn't smart. Guys, I rush like every minute of the day because of YouTube, and I do things like that. Don't do things like that. Take your time, build your stuff nice. Don't shortcut things and hack job things. You know, I do it because I'm like, I gotta get the videos done, and it's getting real tiresome. When you want professional paint results, you gotta have a paint booth. These headers are gonna rust, so professional paint booth it is. You know, at least I took them off the ground and put them on the pallet. Let's spritz them. Super glad I wasted whatever $15 it was on this garbage. It doesn't spray. Thing's half clogged. It's half full, but man, everything you buy these days is garbage. Nobody stands behind anything. So whoever makes this VHD stuff, do a better job. I mean, this stuff's shit. Welcome back under the truck. So while we're waiting for our expertly painted headers, I gotta put converter bolts in. So I got these bolts at a local hardware store. They're metric 10.9. I don't know if you can even see that. Probably won't focus. Supposedly that's the metric equivalent. Loctite them, and we'll put them in, like all the Loctite, you know, because I mean, let's be honest, we aren't taking this truck back apart ever. We'll probably just get rid of it. You know, torque, and then we'll go around and, you know, re-torque them to the proper torque spec. So I'm just gonna zip this thing around, put the rest of the bolts in, but you guys don't need to watch that. And then we're gonna try to make those headers get in there finally and hook that steering up, and I'm just gonna tell you guys if it worked or not, and that's where we're at. If you'll notice, there's copious amounts of gasket sealer because the gaskets that I bought were nice Velcro gaskets, kind of got torn up when I took them back off from the engine stand, and all I'm left with these Chinese pieces of shit. So unfortunately, this is the route we go because this is the only thing we got. I can't hold the camera or do this at the same time, so I have to put you down. You're gonna have to live without my gentle touch for a little bit. Now, again, for the 18th time, not a fan of the gasket sealer. I'm also not a fan of the 5/16 heads on the bolts I bought, and that's on me, because clearly I didn't see that. Oh yeah, that's all the skin. Don't need that anyway, huh? All right, I'm gonna fight with this one, and we'll try to hook the steering up. Well, it's in and it fits, but I'm screwed. The joint at the top, it has too much angle on it, and it's binding. I mean, it's very slight. Even, I mean, you could just kind of zip the shoulders off the side of that, but this brings us back to this mount. I'm gonna cut this back off, and I'm gonna bring it up on a plate. That elevation should be just enough to unbind that. You know, guys, this is kind of how this goes. Live and learn, or, you know, in my case, you don't learn and you do the same things over and over again. So I'm cutting it off. And just like that, no more binding. So we are going to have to find a happy medium in here, but this does give me the opportunity to correct this, guys. I shouldn't have done this, and I knew that. What I think I'm gonna do is just build a plate to go down vertically. I don't know if you guys can see over here. So I'm gonna build a plate that goes vertically here. Maybe we can grab this bolt and this bolt, and that way we can unbolt the whole thing. What is the chance our homemade press brake will bend this? This is like 3/8, but this is kind of the exact width I need. Now if I could get almost a 90 out of it, I think we'd be good. I am wearing safety glasses because it is Harbor Freight and it may explode, or, you know, my poorly constructed device may break the welds. Anything is possible. Let's see how we did. There's a video for this if you guys want to see how I made that. Evolution made quick work out of that thing. What do you think of that, right? And then all we'll do is weld a good bead across there. We're going to mark the one hole on the inside. It matches the contour right, and we're going to put one more here, and I'll basically punch this in the press, and then we'll punch it through when it's on the truck. And then it at least bolts in. It's the proper height now. I feel good about that. So we're going to grab lunch and hopefully come back, drill some holes and weld this. And then steering and headers are done. A lot of work, guys, for not a lot of video, sorry. This thing fits pretty decent here. This one hole was already in the frame. So all I did was mark it from the inside, and I drilled it. And then I just drilled one, and I went, about there. So this one we're going to put a bolt in right now. And then all we got to do is weld it across, and then this thing's removable. And technically this hole is big enough that this whole thing will go up through, and we can remove the entire steering column as one piece, and then we have no more binding here. So that's all good. So we need to send this. Got to give this the old chicken sendies. Okay, that definitely went. We're gonna blow all that off. It's already painted on the back side, so the only thing we'll have to paint is the outside. Now technically, this thing should not move from where it is, and I feel better about that. 2 big bolts through it. Could we put a third? Sure. Do we need to? Absolutely not. And then we're gonna blast another bead, but I'm gonna make sure that we don't have any binding at all. That feels nice and smooth now, guys. How many ugga-duggas? That many. Let's weld. We are going to try our magnetic ground. We are going to turn our welder up to plaid. I mean, it ain't going anywhere now. Let's see if it still spins. Oh yeah, that's dreams right there. Get yourself one of these magnetic grounds. You can stick them to anything. That way you don't have to like constantly clean a space off, you know, to put your ground clamp to. All right, there it is. All built. It's not gonna go anywhere. I'm not concerned about it. We got plenty of clearance to the frame. We got plenty of clearance inside our joint. We have plenty of clearance. I can put my whole hand in here, so we're not going to be melting anything. And we still got to tighten the bolt and the steering. But guys, from what we started with to where we're at, it's in. It fits. Don't give up. There's always a way. Don't give up. Well, guys, I know in the video it's probably not a lot of work, but it's been a lot of work so far for this video. Tubing work, kind of clearancing things, putting other things together. I've been working independently of this video, just doing the little things I don't think you guys want to see, but that's time consuming. First up, we're going to do coffee shout outs. Chuckster bought 5. He did include a note that said, a Ford would have been better in that truck, and now you're paying for that free Chevy. I mean, the Chevy wasn't free. I paid $300 for it, but considering what the Fords cost, it was next to free. So he's not wrong, right? I could have got a 302, roller 302 or 351 and used a Mustang, you know, Fox body, shorty. Everything would have fit. I get it. But this is what we had, and this is what we're working with. I got to order a drive shaft. We got to order a bunch of stuff. The E-rack, the rack kit. Some of that is a financial constraint for us. We don't generate a significant amount of money on YouTube, so we kind of do it as we can afford to do it. Just like every other video, we got Amazon links in the description. If you hit those links, you don't have to buy what's in the link. You can buy anything on Amazon, and it just from us bringing you there, they give us this tiny little percentage of like quote commission. Keeps the channel going. You can do the buy us coffee if you like the content. And we're hoping to move forward and be a little bit more productive next time we do a video. So just remember, you watch me do it. And if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.